Hey everybody, so we promised you a dog video.
A what?
I know, I was getting ready to say we don't call them dogs, we call them fur babies because they are our babies and they have fur. So there are four-legged fur babies. So we're going to go through each one and we're going to tell you a little bit about them, their names, and how we got them. So who do you want to start with?
They get upset when you call them DOGs. Yeah.
Yeah, Wayne goes around spelling the word dog.
Well,
Not the DOG.
I've been telling Pam for a long time, the babies understand us. And they do. I mean, I can talk to them just like, we switch this one and Bentley in and out of a cage. I call it a cage. It's a
Kennel, a crate.
And because they fight. And this starts it. But he's perfect in every way, except he likes to fight. And I will tell Bentley when it's his time to go into the little kennel and let Bubby get out and run around for 2-3 hours. I tell him, I say, you gotta help Daddy. And he'll look up at me with them little eyes so sad. And then I say, sometimes he got started, I was sick one day. And I said, baby, you gotta help Daddy. You gotta get into the cage by yourself. And the little fella, he just jumped into the cage. I freaked out. But I bragged on him and bragged on him to Mommy when she got home. And he just sitting there so proud. But Daddy gave him a treat. He's looking at me right now. But he's got a story to tell too. Go ahead, baby, and tell him about little Toby. I call him Toby Tobias. And then I call him Toby Toe. And when it's his time to get into his bedroom, we got a walk-in closet in the bedroom. And we got just a little door about this high. Well, you can't see. About 3 foot high. And I'll say, go, your time. And he'll say, it's time to go to your house. Or your room. And he'll run, go to his room. Now, sometimes we have to bribe Bentley by giving him treats. He's sad.
If you hear noise, it's gonna be thunder. It was so hot yesterday. But today it's rained, which thank God we needed the rain, and it's cooled the weather down a little bit. So it's thundering and we get some heavy rain. And I love the sound that it makes on our tin roof. But if you hear something, that's what it's gonna be. But we asked you guys if you wanted a video of telling about our little fur babies and how we got them, and we just started picking up strays.
We huh?
Wayne put his foot down though. He's like, no more. We can't do that. And it is expensive to buy dog food and vet bills and taking care of them and everything. So we really can't afford anymore. But we fell in love with them.
Excuse me. That was after 6. But after 6, I said,
We gotta stop.
yeah.
So I'm the type of person that keeps dog food in my car, and if I see a little stray, then I would give it dog food if I thought it was hungry. And for a while there, I just picked up every stray I could find and bring home. I thought I was, I guess, supposed to save all the little strays. I don't know, but I do love dogs, and I know everybody's not an animal lover. My mother, she absolutely would not have an animal in her house. She thought they were nasty, and animals, you do have to constantly clean after them. And I know my house is probably not the cleanest, but it's a happy home, and to me, that's what matters. I have a brother that the last time he came, right before Morgan, our first little fur baby, passed away, she had got cataracts toward the end of her life, and she was going over to kind of sniff her way and sniff around him, see who he was and what he was doing there. And he was like, no, don't come my way. And that's how he is. He's not an animal lover like I am. I mean, he would have a dog, but it would be outside. He thinks that's its place. And some people are like that, and that's okay. But I just felt like that they had feelings like I had, and I wanted them to be happy. So I did take in way too many, but I think we've given the 6 we had very good lives, don't you?
And we love them.
We do love them. They
and
are
they
our
love
children.
Us.
Where we don't have natural children, they have become our babies or children. So let's start with Morgan first. You want to?
I was going to say, get that picture and show me.
I'll put the picture up. I'll overlay a picture so you can see who we're talking about when I say Morgan. Morgan passed away this past March the 15th. We had her 16 years, and when we got her, we took her to the vet, and they said she was around 6 to 9 months old. So she was 16, if not maybe 17 years old. Yeah. So she was the boss. We called her the queen. Because she, of course, was the oldest, but she was bossy. She had an attitude that was very much bossy. She bossed all the others. I mean,
you.
Yeah, she bossed us all. When she wanted to go to the bathroom, or when she wanted to eat or treat, she would hop down off the couch or chair, wherever she was, and she'd come and look right at mine and Wayne's face and just yelp and bark. And she had a very keen bark and very loud, and she would bark until we got up, and then she would lead the way. She would either go to the door or she would go to the kitchen.
Or go to the, what's that?
Treat bag. Buffet where the treat bags are.
Yeah. And she'd stand.
Yeah. And I mean, she wouldn't stop barking until you got up and you done what she wanted to do.
She would come up to Pam and look at Pam, and Pam could say, "Don't you start on me." And here she, brr.
We had this little thing, we kind of argue, you know, and she'd start barking. I'd be like, don't you start with me, or I'm not going to do it. And that wouldn't encourage her to bark more. But she gave us a lot of pleasure, a lot of smiles, but she broke her heart in March. She, like I was telling you, she had cataracts, and so she was completely blind. And we never did move our furniture around, so she kind of knew where she was going, but she would sometimes run into things, or she would get under the table, and where the table had the table legs and the chair legs, I would have to move the chairs and reach in and get her and pull her out because she would just be so confused. So she really, I wouldn't say she suffered, but she was, it was difficult maneuvering. And she was such a strong-minded baby. I remember at night what I would do is I would open the door and let them all go out in the yard and use the bathroom before we went to bed. And I carried her down the route and set her in the yard. She turned and walked back up the route to the top, turned around and come back down the route by herself. And then use the bathroom in the yard. But she wanted to do it. So from then on, I would just kind of stand beside her, walk beside her, and let her go because I was afraid she would fall off the ramp. But she had to do things on her own. And then she would always, when we get ready to go to bed, you know how you have a certain routine. We make sure all the water bowls are full before we go to bed, and I would always brush my teeth the last thing. So I would go to the bathroom, start brushing my teeth, and she would come and stand at the door, wait on me till I got done, and then follow me back to the bedroom. So she was a precious little angel.
We still cry. And that's how much she touched us.
She made a big influence on her life.
We did.
She never did.
But when it got bedtime, she would look at Pam and start barking. And we might be in the middle of a movie or middle of whatever, and it's time to go to bed. Brr, 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 And Pam said, "Don't you start on me." And she would start barking, how much more? And she wasn't satisfied until we got ready for bed. There'll never be another Morgan. I mean, she was an angel.
She was.
And if you're like us and have raised them in the house, you know how smart they are. And they just get smarter. I mean, we've got each one of them's got about 3 names.
We nickname them.
Yeah.
We name them, then we give them nicknames.
Like Toby. I told you, I call him Toby, Tobias, or Toby Toe. And he answers to all of them. But they know if I say Sissy Emily, they know who it is. Like when I give them treats, they all gather around me. A lot of them stand on my feet. And I'll say, now this is Bubby Bentley's treat. And they'll back off. And as soon as I give him that treat, they'll crowd back in.
Waiting for theirs.
And I'll say, well, this is Sissy's so-and-so's treat. And they'll wait and let me feed them. He's been looking at you.
You know.
And we got one. She's Emily's mother. she will sit back from the crowd, sit there like a little lady, wait till I give everybody their treat, and then let me come and give it to her. But now she's got till if she's sitting in a chair or laying on the couch. When Daddy's giving treats out, she'll wait. Everybody's got theirs, and then expect me to go wherever she's at and put the treat in my hand and give to her. I'll say, they used to be real rough and they'd bite, not meaning to be, rough and hurt me. But now I say, don't you hurt Daddy's hand. And they just real gentle.
Of course, we're mom and dad to them. We'll say, go tell Dad, or go get Dad, go get Mommy. So that's how they know us. But I will say one more thing about Morgan, and we'll move on to the next one. Morgan loved corn on the cob, and I know a lot of you may say corn is bad for them. We'd be very careful that she didn't eat the cob, just the corn. But when we would eat our corn on the cob, she would take her little paws and pull our hands down until we just gave her the corn. I started every time I'd make corn, I'd make an extra ear for her. And when her little teeth got bad, I would cut the corn off and hold my hand out and she would eat. But she would go back and forth just like a little human eating that corn off that cob. And she loved yogurt. She knew those containers. She knew when I would get a snack and get my little cup of yogurt, she knew what that was. And she ate most of yogurt. And I don't think I've eaten a cup of yogurt since her passing. I just can't do it yet. But how she done this, Wayne and I will never know, but she sneaked out of the house. There was 3 of us here. She got by all 3 of us, and we think where she was blind that she fell over the hill. We looked till probably 11 o'clock that night trying to find her. It was a couple hours before we missed her because I was working out in the yard and I thought she was in the house. Wayne thought she was outside with me. And when I came in, I said, "Where's Morgan? I've counted all of them but Morgan." And he said, "I thought she was with you." So we started going through the neighborhood looking till around 11 o'clock. And I got afraid that if I went around houses that late at night that, people might think the wrong thing. So we came home, went to bed as soon, and I don't think either one of us got much sleep. As soon as it got daylight, we got out and started looking again. And we looked, and I just about give up at that point. And I came home, and I was like, I don't know where else to look. We've been through the neighborhood. One of our neighbors, he said, "I'll get on the 4-wheeler and I'll help you look for her." And he came and he said, I found your dog. She's over the hill in the road." So I ran to her. I picked her up. She was still alive at that point. And we think that when she heard us hollering at her, calling her name, that she maybe moved around and fell on down the hill. I think maybe a tree or a brush had stopped the first fall. And she rolled on down onto the highway, and she was in really bad shape. I came through, and I told Wayne, I said, "I found Morgan, but I said she's in terrible bad shape." So we laid her on the bed, and me and Wayne stayed there with her. Wayne sung a song to her. We talked to her. We prayed, and we just held her and loved her on her. And she lived about 45 minutes. And she passed away. So we buried her on our property. I think I've showed you guys pictures of her little grave. I'll put pictures up and let you see it. and we buy her flowers, and we got her a little tombstone, and it says "Go play with the angels." 2 of them, little headstone and footstone, and so we got a picture of her in the living room. And when we're all having what we call family night, which consists of me and Wayne and the fur babies, I feel like she's kind of with us with her picture being there. But she was a precious baby. Well, I always loved her. And I feel like that God gave her to us. Did I tell how I found her?
No. Let him tell you how she found her, because that's a big time story.
Yeah. So one morning, I was going to work. We live kind of in a little holler. That's what us country folk call it.
A side road.
Okay, yeah, I was trying to think of another way to explain a holler, or some people call it a hollow, but in our neck of the woods, everybody knows. So I live up in the head of a holler. We know what that is. But it's like Wayne said, a little side road. And so I came out of the little holler side road and got onto the what now is a main road, but then it was just a dirt road. We had coal trucks. There was a coal mines that was right up above our house. So we had coal trucks running on the road 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And they had a water truck that they would run even through the night. You could lay in bed and hear this water truck going and back and forth, watering the road so that keep the dust down. And so the road was muddy no matter what the weather was. And so I went out of the side road or the holler onto the main road. And I mean, it was slushy mud. And here came this little puppy right towards my car. And you barely could see it because it was so muddy. It was covered in mud. And I stopped and I said, rolled my window down, and I said, "What are you doing up here?" And she looked at me and looked at the back door of my car and started barking. So I knew if I didn't get her, she was going to get run over because nobody could see her. She was so little anyway. So I looked around in my car and I found this grocery bag that I usually keep in the car for garbage. And I thought, I can stick her down in that so I won't get so muddy. Because I knew I was going to have to take her back home, probably change clothes, and then get to work. And I'd be late. And I found a sweater. So I put her in that bag, and I wrapped her in that sweater, and I held her in my arms like this while I drove back to the house. I handed her to Wayne, and I said, "Here, you got to deal with her till I get home." And luckily, I didn't get too dirty. I was able to kind of get cleaned up and head back to work. And we were going to take her to the pound. I got ready. I put her in the car. And she started crying on me. I got down to the end of the driveway and I come back. I said, "I can't do it. I can't do it." So we ended up.
Can we keep her?
And of course they said yeah. And so we kept her 16 years. So I don't regret it.
It's really hurt me.
She was my baby. She was my baby girl.
Toby whispered something to me.
What did he say?
I thought this was supposed to be about me, Dad. Yeah, he's been looking at you.
I know. But I do want to tell you one thing. We'll move on. And this is important to me. When she got missing, when Morgan got missing, I prayed. And I said, "God, I don't want her to die alone. I don't want her to be out there wherever she is, alone, and not thinking nobody loved her and didn't care for her." I don't want her to die alone. Please bring her back home. And in my mind, when I prayed that prayer, I was thinking, he'll bring her back home and she'll be good, you know. Well, he did answer my prayer. He let me find her and he let me bring her home. And she knew she was loved till the last breath left her little body. So he did answer my prayer, and I thank God for that. So, because I don't think my heart could have took not finding her or finding her already dead. So he did answer me that prayer. So if you're praying for something that's, I don't care what it is, if it's about a dog, an animal, or if it's about something that is so important in your life that you think you can't go on, if you pray, God will answer. He may answer in a way that you might not have thought about or even wanted it that way, but he will answer. So don't give up. But let's move on to the next one.
I can't remember how. Oh. Got here.
Do you want to go? You want to go with Toby?
Yeah, we got him here. Look, he has never took his eyes off us. Bentley. If we get you out in a minute,
As soon as we talk about Toby, we'll get you out of your little, we call it a cage like Wayne says, but what it is, it's a handmade little crate that my brother-in-law made, and it opens at the top. So it's kind of an unusual one, but like I said, it's handmade that I think he made it out of like little panels of wire, and it's just made different. But my brother-in-law made it, and it's precious because he made it, and so we called it a cage, but it is a little crate that we do that. We keep them in there 2 hours in, 2 hours out, so they don't fight, because they fight to the death, and I can't stand to see that. So we have to keep them separated, and that's the only solution that we can come up with.
May I put a little footnote in there?
What?
She said they fight. So she came up with the idea. We'll get a chain link fence and fence her yard in. Didn't work. So we just put a fence like in the backyard, the back part of the yard. That wasn't good enough because Bentley, I'll tell you how he got his name later, he could get over the fence or around the fence, he could get over on the other side. So we had to get another fence in the front end yard and join them together and put a petition in. And now they'll stand one on one side, one on the other, barking at each other. But then they'll kiss each other through the wire too.
But it is Toby's fault. He starts the fight. He's Chihuahua, part Chihuahua. We don't know what he's mixed with. But he starts the fights, and Bentley is double his size. So Bentley whips him, but they get injured quite a bit when they fight. So we try to do everything to avoid that. But little Toby, you see how he's dressed up? He wanted to dress up for the show. Look at his little outfit. Isn't that the cutest little thing? So he does have clothes.
Have you got those clothes?
I do. I'll show you. I'll show you some of his clothes. He doesn't wear clothes so much during the summer, but in the winter he does freeze. I mean, he'll shake and shiver and if we have a blanket on the couch, he'll try to get in that blanket and cover up. So in the winter time, or even like fall, spring, he puts on little clothes so that he doesn't freeze as bad. He has a coat when we do go out in public. So he wears a little coat, don't you? But Toby came to us about 8 years ago. And he was, I don't know how old he was, but he still had baby teeth. And this was something I didn't know. Dogs do have baby teeth. And the reason I knew that was the little canine teeth, he had two of them on one side. And then I noticed a few months later that one had come out. So I done some research, and they do have baby teeth. And those come out and they're replaced with the real teeth. So he was young enough that he had his baby teeth when he came. He came in the winter. It was very cold. He was cold too. And I went outside, and you want to go back to Daddy? And as you know, we live in the country, and we don't know if he got lost or if somebody just dropped him off. In the country, you have that a whole lot. People are they don't want to take them to the pound for whatever reason. They don't want them anymore, so they just drop them off near a house, hoping that those dogs will go to a house and somebody will take them in. So that we think that's what happened, because we couldn't find the owners of Toby. So we got him. We had a Christmas tree at that time. And I remember giving him a treat. And he grabbed it and went underneath the Christmas tree where he could eat it. He was afraid that others would take it from him. But he came to us. He was in our yard. I guess somebody had set him off. And he's a little runabout. He loves to go shopping with us. And he has a little car seat. And we put him in that, strap him in. He has like a little seatbelt thing that goes right into the seatbelt of a car. And he has a little harness that we put on him when he travels. And he has a little coat if he goes in the winter. We don't take him if it's hot in the summer, and if we go to like a doctor's appointment or a restaurant that we can't take him in, then we don't take him. But if it's cool enough that if we go like to a doctor's appointment, we can leave him in the car, then we'll take him, leave the windows cracked a little bit. He has a little cup of water that we take with him. Mm-hmm. And what would you say his personality is? An angel in disguise.
Yeah, there you go.
He can be the sweetest baby. He loves when I come home just to hold him. Sometimes I'll wrap him up in a blanket, and he'll sit like this for hours.
And if he gets hurt, not his fault. It's our fault.
He'll get mad at us, and he'll shake all over and bark.
But every one of them, if they get hurt, they run to mommy. They do. You know, just like two-legged babies do.
This is what he likes right here.
He lays like that. He can lay like that. Well, hours.
Let's see if he'll let me wrap him up. I got a blanket right here. This is Emily's blanket. We'll explain her blanket in a little bit. Here, Mommy wrap you up. You let Mommy wrap you up?
And he just looks so proud when he's in Mommy's lap. Sit and watch him love. In a minute, baby.
He's looking off to the side at his brother Bentley. Bentley has spent his 2 hours in the kennel, or in the crate, so it's time to switch him out. And he's letting us know in case we forgot. So what else you want to say about Toby? Or do you want to move on?
Well, one thing. He don't want to say goodnight to Daddy. I'll say, come here, baby, let me say goodnight. And he'll turn that head like that and turn it away from me and put it on his mommy's shoulder. And, but when she opens his door to the closet, every morning he will come running and jump and land on my chest. Hopefully it's my chest. Sometimes it's my stomach. And he has to do that, and I have to pet on him. And if he does have to, we say PDP, go out and use the bathroom, he will, if he's busting, he'll run outside right quick and then run back to the bedroom and jump on my chest and lay there till, I have to tell him, Dad's gotta get up. And he'll burrow under the cover. And you won't know he's laying there. And I have put clothes on him, throwed my clothes on him, put a pillow on, and not know it. And as long as Daddy's doing it, it's all right. But if one of his brother or his sisters get on the bed and get close to him, you hear him go. Rrr.
That's why at night he sleeps in our closet. We have a big walk-in closet, and he has a puppy pad and a bowl of water so he can get up and move around. But he has cover and a little bed in there, so that's where he spends the night. And because if we do let him stay in bed, he, like Wayne says, he burrows under the cover and you can't see him, and they tend to step on him. So that's what we do. Camera quit recording, so we had to come back on and fix our camera. And while we were doing that, we put Toby in his little crate. Now we got Bentley here. But I wanted to show you some of Toby's little clothes. Look at that. Isn't that cute? It's very warm. It's like a sweater.
No, stay here.
And he wears that in the winter.
Look, you're on TV, baby.
And this is another one. Like a little sleeper pajama thing. Here's his little flannel shirt.
I'll take you down. Come on, baby.
There's like a little hoodie. It's got a little hood on it.
Little PDP. Yeah.
And then he's got a Merry Christmas, like a little sweatshirt. So that's just some of his clothes that he wears. Like I said, in the summer, he don't really wear a whole lot. If he does wear clothes, it's like a little thin t-shirt top. We may have to do like part 1 and part 2, because I guess we do get a little lengthy.
No, you gotta stay in, baby. Okay.
Which one you want to do next?
I was hoping told next.
You mean Bentley?
Oh yeah.
Come here, Bentley. Well, Vanna's in. We'll do Vanna.
Okay.
This is. Do you want to get up, Mommy's nap?
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Oh,
You see her jump?
Tell them how you can say 1, 2, 5, and
Oh,
she
yeah.
won't jump.
She knows 1, 2, 3. I say, let's jump. 1, 2, 3, jump. And she'll jump. If I say 1, 2, 3, 5, she won't. 7, 8, 11, no. It has to be 1, 2, 3. No, baby.
And
This is what she likes. She likes to be held just like this and want me rocking her.
the two girls here, she's right here, Emily and Vanna, they're so jealous over Pam. Now, Emily was over there with her blanket right then, and she seen Mommy get picked up Emily, or Vanna, so Emily had to come over here. And they even growl at each other.
I said, "Still, baby."
That's the reason Vanna sleeps in the condo with Bubby, Toby.
Yeah, we call it the condo, but it's the walk-in closet. These two, Toby and this one, sleep together at night. They love each other. They get along good. But Savannah was, I'm going to say, probably 3 to 6 months old when we found her. We don't know what kind of abuse that she went through, but she is very antisocial. When we brought her in, she was covered in fleas. And so we done some flea treatments and took care of all that. And she got missing. And we found her in the back bedroom of our house in the corner of a closet. And we've had her, she's 9 years old. We've had her 9 years. And like I said, she was probably, wouldn't you say, 3 to 6 months? She was tiny.
Yeah.
To this day, we'll all be in the living room watching a movie and all the fur babies in here except for Savannah. We call her Vanna. She's back in her closet. That's where she stays most of the time. So Emily was coming through the living room with her blanket and about to turn the camera over. But anyway, Savannah's got down out of my lap now. But she still, 9 years later, she still wants to be by herself most of the time.
She will lay under the end table.
She will, like if I close the bedroom door, she will go under the end table of her couch. Only a little space under there. She wants something that's closed in and a tight little space. That's what she wants. But one day, get back to my story. I came home from work and she was in the corner and scared to death. And I said, what's happened? Wayne's like, I don't know. She's been like that all day. And the only thing that we could tell was upsetting her was our smoke detector. You know how when the batteries start going dead and it'll beep every now and again? Ours had started that day. And so I had to replace the battery, and after I did that, I put the other dogs out in the yard and I got her, gave her treats and loved on her and kind of give her a little bit of a special treatment, and she got okay. So we think that noise was what had her so upset. When it thunders and lightens, 4th of July when they do fireworks, she gets terrified. This is how they play. She really enjoys her two brothers. Yeah, she enjoys her two brothers more than her two sisters. When we have company, she just stands and barks. And it's not a vicious bark, it's more like a nervous bark. We're not sure what kind of abuse that she endured, but she's just so afraid of everything. She doesn't want to be around the other dogs a lot of the times. She don't want to be around me and Wayne most of the time. She just takes it by spells that she will get up in my lap. The only exception is at night. She does like to get in bed when Wayne's in bed, and she wants to lay on his shoulder or his neck, and he will pet on her, love on her. But other than that, she had rather be in the corner of the house where it's quiet and it's kind of dark. Would you agree? But she's been with us 9 years.